Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seasons of Testimonies. I am your host, Mz.Pearl. How's everybody doing on this Good Friday? All right. Today, I will be sharing my testimony with you guys of when God did the impossible in my life in 2012. I was going to the hospital for the third time. I had false labor pains the night before and the night before that. This time, my two sisters took me to the hospital. So I was in the hospital. I went to the hospital when they wheeled me in. When we got into a room, they got me into the room. They decided to keep me this time. Now, they were informing me that I was a bit dehydrated, which I was confused on because I actually had drank water on the way there, had a water bottle like in my lab, and was drinking a lot of water. So they hooked me up on the IV. Actually, all the way until the morning. My son's father came the next morning. He worked third shift. He came right when he got off work. He came up right before the scheduled C-section. We went in for the C-section, and just to give a little backstory, when I was pregnant going to the doctors, I ended up seeing a doctor that was kind of rude. She kept asking me, did I want to tie my tubes? Did I want to tie my tubes? And kind of like, it was kind of like a little pressure behind that because you already asked me, you keep asking me that. And mind you, I was 29 at the time. And I wasn't sure that that was something that I wanted to do. So I let the doctors know where I was going, that I didn't want to see that doctor anymore because I felt like she was pressuring me about tying my tubes. Just so happened that I end up my child was delivered by the same doctor, and it just so happened that that morning, um, after my son was delivered, I was in a room, and my family was calling to check up on me. They were coming back up to come and check on me, and the nurses was coming in and out, and my blood pressure was going up and down, and I didn't know exactly what was going on with me. So that same doctor ended up coming in the morning, later on that morning, and she first asks me how I'm doing, but it never was like really a huge concern enough for me, knowing what she knew. But she asked me how I was doing, and I was telling her that I was feeling a little weak, and the nurses was telling me my blood pressure was going up and down. So then she looked at me and said, um, well, I know I was asking you about having your tubes tied. Why didn't you have your tubes tied? But I want to say it was right after that she um kind of snuck in the conversation. Mind you, on I had been taking some pain meds at that time too. But she kind of snuck in their conversation that I had lost blood, a lot of blood, but no one had notified me of it, and that I was going to need to get a blood transfusion. So now I'm like, what? Like, no one told me I lost a lot of blood. You telling me I'm gonna need a blood transfusion? Like, half of the morning had passed by, and no one told me that. So now, she's in there, and I'm on the phone with my relatives, and when she tells me that, I begin to cry because I'm like, oh God, like, I'm wondering why my blood pressure is going up and down like the way it was. Very weird, and why they're checking it so much. And they knew that, like, I lost a lot of blood. So instantly in that moment, I'm crying. I'm on the phone. My sisters and everybody, like, they're gonna rush up there, and they're upset because they're overhearing me talk to her, and me begin to panic. At that moment, another doctor stepped into the room, and he had other doctors, nurses with him, and they took the female doctor out of the room. And when they took her out of the room, he began to talk to me and let me know that he was taking over and that he was going to be my doctor for the rest of the time being that I was in the hospital. Now, they ended up having to move me to a special floor because also they had pumped so much of the IV, the water on me, and me not knowing that they had to monitor my heart also while they were pulling the water off of me to make sure that everything went fine and that I didn't go into cardiac arrest and anything like that. So they had to watch over me. Now that was very emotional for me also because I wasn't able to see my son like I wanted to. So my family rushed up and they're praying for me, praying over me. Of course, mothers, when we have children, we're very, very emotional. So I was very emotional and a little bit worried and praying and wanting to see my son and upset about the fact of that it just so happened that I realized that who that doctor was. So it set in and I was telling them who she was and that, that kind of upset me. But I let go of that and began to just pray, and my family was praying. And few days later, like everything began to turn and get better so that like they were able to bring my son down to see me. God made it possible that they were able to. Now I'm able to get into a wheelchair and they still had to monitor me, but I can go up and see my son and I will be going home in a few days. At that moment, things was looking up for me and I know that God had did it again. Like he did the impossible in that moment of where everything could have went left. Everything was very scary for me, for my children, for my family, for my mother. I even brought my mother up to see me. And at that time, she stuck to, and I stuck to what I believed in. Like at 29, I was a bit too young for me to make that decision on whether or not I wanted to tie my tubes, but it was nothing to be pressured about. And for me to have went through what I had went through, it was very scary as a young lady. So I thank God for bringing me through that moment of where he showed up as he has so many times in my life and rescued me, and I was able to come through and have my son who was now 13 years old, and he is healthy. I'm healthy, and God is still working miracles in our lives. Everything could have went wrong, but God saved me. I can tell so many testimonies of when God has showed up in my life. But this show isn't just for me. It's for everyone. So I just want to remind everyone, encourage everyone that keep sharing your testimonies. Seasons of Testimonies is going to be here because of everyone has a testimony each and every day. God is always and continuously working miracles. I remember the days of being in church and people standing in line to give their testimonies just for the week of what God has done in their lives. Whether it's email, text message, messenger, a phone call, share your testimonies. God has been too good and continuously good, saving us, bringing us through. And I'm so grateful for everything that he's doing. I'm grateful for this platform. this podcast. I'm so excited for everything that's coming up that I have planned for this podcast, and everyone that I know that God is going to bring forward. Excited for the growth. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay blessed. Keep supporting Seasons of Testimonies. I love each and every one of you. I'm always soft when it comes to Jesus, when it comes to the Lord and my Savior Jesus Christ. So, like me and my girls, we say softies. So, hey, I love you, softies. And keep supporting and showing up for God the way He's showing up and showing out for us. I love you guys. Peace.